Buckle up, everyone, and welcome to Carpool Rugby League, a show where two rugby league tragics talk everything rugby league on your way to and from work. I'm Shano.
And I'm the chameleon.
Welcome aboard and on with the show. Forgot who it was there for a tick. Listeners, welcome. Welcome back. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Carpool Rugby League. As Roy and H would say, show where too much rugby league is never enough. Let's go through some of the scores. We are doing it on a Thursday, listeners. So and apologies, I was actually unavailable last week. It just didn't happen. But if you've been living under a rock and you didn't hear the scores from the weekend, let me shout these out to you. It started on Thursday with one of the most insane rugby league things I've ever seen. The Roosters beat the Cowboys 82-12. Dolphins 28, Dragons 22. Dragons right in that for a long part of that game. 36, the Bulldogs beat the Storm 22. 42-6, the Warriors beat the Titans. Panthers 42, Raiders 18. In the end, too strong. Knights 30, Broncos 6. That was diabolical watching. 32-16, Sharks just proving their march into the top four. Too strong for the Bunnies. And in what was one of the... I'm not going to say horrible, that's not fair, because I'm not an NRL player, but it was one of the toughest games I've ever watched. The Eels 16 beat the Tigers 13. The ladder looks a little bit like this. And typical, I put the wrong one up, so let's put the ladder up here. But yeah, that's an absolutely diabolical game, that one. Panthers are on their own, 36 points, 34 the Roosters. Warriors on 32, Sharks 32, Dolphins 30, Knights 28, Rabbits 26, and the Dogs 26. That rounds out the top 8. Cowboys had that game in hand, but with a minus 98 differential, that I'd say that they're going to need something to get themselves in the 8. They can't languish at the bottom there. Seagulls 24, Raiders 22, Storm 20, Eels 20. That brings me down to 13th place. At 14th, we got the Titans on 18. 15 sees the Broncos on 18. 16 sees the West Tigers on 18. And 17 sees the Dragons at 10. And I'm telling you now, if you'd asked the West Tigers fans at the start of the year, would you want to be on the same points as the Broncos this far into the competition? I reckon they would have said yes. I don't think they would have wanted to be second last though. So yeah, Griffo, what caught your eye this week?
Well, I can't go past the what you already mentioned, the Roosters. As a team performance, normally they pick out an individual or a tribe, but it was just unprecedented from the Roosters. It's the highest total in an NRL game, and there were higher totals previously. The Roosters did a couple of jobs on the what were then the Berries, the Canterbury Berries.
Yes.
Got squashed back in the 1930s, and the Roosters at that time, I think, well, it might have been the Dragons, put like 90 or something. 3-point tries back in those days.
That's right.
But we haven't seen it. We haven't seen this. We haven't seen a team score in the 80s since the 1930s. So it's quite amazing. I sort of kept watching because I thought, okay, how high are they going to go? Cowboys put a little bit of a dent on it early in the second half, but then they fired up again, and they pretty much scored at will towards the end. There was some brilliance of the Roosters, but also the Cowboys played their role by being so dreadful in defense. So in saying that, Cowboys start at 0 tonight, and so do their opposition. And,
100% they do.
And I expect they'll beat the Gold Coast.
I'm with you. They start at 0 and again, yep, like we said, they all start at 0. Griffo, any observations from the rugby league we saw this week before we head into the games in what is a shortened version of this, as we are about to go and watch the Cowboys and Titans play?
Look, we didn't have a show last week.
No. Is there any from the week before that you'd want to?
Yeah, well, there was something that happened the day after we did our last podcast that dominated the media for over a week, and that was the Dewey Don'ty. When I mean, everyone's probably sick of hearing about it, but we haven't had our say. I won't bang on for too long because it's water under the bridge to a large extent, but. Yeah, Dewey made the wrong choice, spitting the dummy like he did. And to walk out and say, I'm not going to play because the coach wasn't going to put you in the position you wanted to play, is petty, it's immature, it's unprofessional. And he made a big mistake. He had some form with it, because Brett Kamali came out on SEN and said when he was the interim coach at the Tigers after, I think it might have been after Maguire left, Dewey said to him, if you're not going to play me at 5'8" in first grade, put me at 5'8" in reserve grade. And Kamali was quite stunned, didn't know what to do, ended up playing him in first grade at 5'8". So Dewey got his way, and then essentially he got his way again because Coach Benji Marshall brought him back, and they smoked the peace pipe, but there was no, I don't know what word I'm trying to use here, punishment, I guess. Dewey just went straight back into the team against Parramatta as halfback. And he had a good game. But there's a guy who made his debut down in Canberra, Javon Andrews, who was picked at 7, played at 7. His whole debut was ruined and overshadowed by the whole Dewey situation. Andrews didn't have a good game, and then the next week he's out of the team. What are you saying to an up-and-coming talent when you do that? Like, it wasn't even in the 19. I cannot for the life of me understand that. How they made those decisions. I mean, they're trying to bring the team together with Dewey and so on. But why did he put him straight back into halfback? And this poor guy made his debut, didn't have a great game. They lost, they got pumped, and then he goes back into reserve grade.
It's just, look, Griffo, I was really... Look, I'll give you some history, right? When South Sydney got rid of Dewey, I was really... I wasn't upset, but I was concerned by the ease of which he left. Then I had some finger in some pies and I knew some people. And one person said to me, trust me, Shane, it's in South Sydney's best interest. Great player, but just not the kind of guy we need. And I thought he might have meant playing wise. And then as time sort of went on, you start to hear certain things. You're going, oh, okay, maybe a bit precious. I don't know. And then you're starting to hear stuff come out at the Tigers, and you just think, I really think, at the end of the day, whether Benji Marshall's, and a lot of this got played out, but I think this was bullshit. At the end of the day, He's the coach. He makes his decisions. The fans can love him or hate him for it. He makes his decisions. I would love written into a contract that if that kind of behaviour was to occur at a club where you contravene the actions of the coach, you're terminated. It's not fair on the fans. That's my biggest thing. It's not fair on the fans. And it's not as if he was being dropped or look, I know what it's like to have a truckload of your cat sitting somewhere that's not being used. But it's just like, come on, what? If you're going to take your bat and ball and go home, then just leave. And it's as simple as that. And that's all I'm going to say on it, because I just felt like I feel again for everybody Tigers fan. It's I suppose as a fan who doesn't go for the Tigers, you can joke and you can tongue in cheek. How's your club going? It's not fair on it. It's just if that I remember what it was like. My club was like that, and it wasn't fun. Thankfully, they somewhat turned a corner and are a different kettle of fish now than what they were when I was growing up. The Panthers were, remember when they were...
there were some dark days there.
Yeah.
Got wooden spoons.
And where they were, their backup house was a bit of a shambles. And you think to yourself, this club, it just keeps happening. And the fans, they keep turning up, to their credit. I got to take my hat off to every bloody Tigers fan that goes to the game week in, week out, because bloody hell. But yeah, I really am becoming frustrated when you're getting things like that happening, and I think it really puts a bad light on the game itself. The Tigers should have had the strength to go, if you don't want to play this week, you're not playing for the rest of the year. Simple as that. And you find another club and you can go do whatever you want to do because you're not playing for this club. And I really think, anyway. Enough said. There's a load of football coming up this week, and it's some interesting games. It's Indigenous Round, so we get to see... I love Indigenous Round. I just think... I know people talk about jerseys and it's another jersey round. I love the Indigenous jerseys. I think they are so cool, some of them.
Some of them are sometimes. So I'm a little over jerseys. I saw 3 teams last week run around in absolute crap jerseys. The Canberra Raiders, that thing they wore against Penrith, I don't know why they did.
Yeah.
Because... that strip looked more like Penrith's because they had black shorts as well, from memory, than the green. Canberra's green.
Can I say...
Green and black. They look nothing like each other.
Can I say... big shout out to the people of Mudgee. That we've got to keep taking games there because the people love it.
Yeah.
I thought, if you're going to go out there and you're going to take your game out there, you can both wear your home jersey. They could have worn the green jersey. It could have worn the green
jersey. Was more contrasting
to the
Penrith jersey. And they wore it last year, Miracle of Mudgee.
Yep.
And they wore that thing out. And then that thing that South Sydney keep wearing that this year, I don't like that jersey.
I love it. Minty wrapper.
Yeah, I know. I remember when they first brought it out. Don Lane was behind it. Going back.
I love it.
Well, I mean, you're a Souths fan. I don't like it. I like
fans voted for it.
Well,
we got the vote. It was so that's their second jersey this year. So that's their away strip. And last year
I didn't like the Sharks jersey either.
The fans were allowed to vote. So that's their official. That's their official away strip for this year. I've got one. I like it.
Yeah, sure.
I'm a South fan, so I
don't like it, but
I've got the original minty wrapper too.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I'm an old fart, but wear your jersey.
Yeah.
Unless the only reason you don't wear your jersey is when you can't tell it from the other team.
Yeah, I think
that's how I roll.
I think I'm a bit like you, and then unfortunately the NRL, it's sort of their mandate now that you have to have a home and away jersey. And South Sydney for years just had the the white and black rabbit. And so South Sydney had the one jersey. Their home jersey was a black rabbit.
Well, different colour shorts, so it did look a little bit different.
Yeah, but they got caned for it. NRL said it's not in the spirit of an away jersey, so they changed it.
Crap. Anyway.
Yeah. So.
And I mean, we both follow the EPL, and
Yes.
It absolutely infuriates me when teams have away jerseys that look like crap, and if they were wearing their normal jersey, there's a contrast with the colour of the home team.
Yeah.
And I can understand it. Two teams that wear red or two teams that wear blue.
I don't know whether this is the same and I think this was this might have came out of football in Europe. I know the Dutch football, this is the way it was always explained to me as a young kid when away jerseys come out. It was basically to pay respect to the home team that this is their home ground. So what we do is we wear an alternate jersey and you wear your home one out of respect for the fact that we are visiting you. On the other side of that, you get to sell two jerseys.
It's all about...
You must love the third jersey, Griff. You must love the third jersey.
I hate it. And even in the World Cup, I think there were games where both teams were not wearing their proper jersey.
I never get that. I never get that because I suppose okay, the country my heritage is at, its home jersey is very it's very synonymous with being Dutch. The orange
not many
jersey.
teams wear orange.
It's
very
orange, right?
Teams. There's one or two others.
And I remember like and I'm being really genuine here. I remember there was a white away jersey in '88. No, there wasn't. No, I tell a lie. There was a white away jersey in '92 where they stipulated you had to have an away. No, Italian '90, sorry. And I think that was the first one that they stipulated. But from memory, I don't even think Holland wore their away jersey once in this World Cup. Well, they didn't go far. Like, don't get me wrong, they didn't have much opportunity. But I got a gut feeling in the three.
Yeah, was it the black jersey they were wearing?
No, their away strip this time. Very nice. It was a white jersey with an orange band.
Okay.
Like faded orange band. My daughter got me a Virgil van Dijk jersey.
Okay. While she was in Europe.
Oh no, just cause it was lovely. While she was in Europe, she got me the Newcastle third jersey, which is okay. Blue. So I like it. Not the black and white, but I bought her the Bournemouth New Jersey.
They got a new one. What,
this season's.
Right.
Vitality's she's wearing it. She's like in love with it. The cherries. She's got big hopes for them in Europe.
All right.
But yeah, I used to get frustrated where teams would just randomly come out with back in the day where you had two jerseys, they'd randomly come out with a third, fourth, and fifth, and you're just like,
I just hate it.
I don't mind like the Indigenous jerseys. I love the Indigenous jerseys. I love them. I think they are so cool, and some of the stuff on them is outstanding. I get the Newcastle Knights one, the high vis one. I get it. What I don't get is when a team wears this third jersey and you go, why are you wearing that tonight? Like, where does that enter in the realm of... Anyway. I think South Sydney got a third jersey. I think it's white.
I think the worst South Sydney one was it might have been like an Anzac round or something. I don't know. They were obviously honouring some of military, but
Yeah.
it was a shocking. I can't remember what colour. It was a shocking coloured jersey, but anyway,
The blue one?
I think it might have been blue. Like,
Oh, no. Did they play the Panthers?
I don't know. It was just
There was one in the Navy that was grey. It was a naval ship. So before they always pay homage, but they actually the South Sydney Rabbitohs actually sit with the members, like the hierarchy of that, like if it's the army, the hierarchy of the army, and see what's important, and they help design it.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they could put something on just a regular jersey. They could put a ship or something. Anyway, I ran over. Like, I don't often rant, but
I love a Griffo. We need a good Griffo rant. You don't get a run like you should when it comes to a rant. You're a very calm, measured human being. Very rare. So you need the airtime when you get it.
Anyway, ran over.
Now, I apologise to any of our Indigenous brothers or sisters. I'm going to attempt to say where the game is going to be held. I know when I come to Friday night, Warriors versus Panthers, I might just say it's in Aotearoa, because Griffo, you're good at this. Te Pea o Rarotonga. Anyway, I hope if I get it wrong, my apologies. But at 7:50 tonight, at the home of the Yagambah people, sees the Titans taking on the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys will put out of their head what happened last week. You'd hope so. Lockie Ilias is in, albeit on the interchange bench. You have for the Cowboys, Jeremiah Nane is out for them. So we're at what are we at? What time? 7:24. So this will be this so out. So Jeremiah Nane is out of the team. John Bateman would be on. John Bateman's named at 17. So that's interesting. Lockie Ilias was named at 7 and has been moved to the interchange bench.
Wow, that's
with AJ Brimson.
It's a vote of no confidence in Ilias, really.
Well, AJ Brimson's the halfback, and Jaden Campbell 5'8" with Jalen de Groot. I thought, de Groot was good a couple of weeks ago. I thought he was unlucky to be dropped last week. I know someone came back, but anyway. The Cowboys are more or less 1-17 with John
Verrills is in as well for the Gold Coast. Yeah, Pasco's on the bench.
Yes,
and Arama Howe. Oh, how
there's a lot of Josh Patterson is in too on the second rower. So that's interesting. I look at the Cowboys and I just think there's too much. There is too much strike power. I would dare say that their week's been spent just forgetting about what happened last week. If you're the Titans, your week's been saying there's blood in the water. Let's go get them. Keanu Kinney's got to be at the start of that. He's got to be at the forefront. Sonny Luke
might be a few tries.
Sonny Luke, Ruben Cotter, they've got to tighten up the middle, and the two bookends really have to tighten up. Healy and Lukey, they did go down the edges too. Kai O'Donnell, sorry. Everyone's just got to turn up and have a big defensive effort. I've got the Cowboys winning, but geez, I'm only picking them because they're a better side than the Titans, you'd think, but geez, they've got to, I think they're a better side than the Titans. If you're unsure where the Yagambah people come from, it's at Seabus Stadium on the Gold Coast.
Look, there's going to be a lot of tries in this game, I would expect. both teams have got a host of exciting attacking weapons, and neither team is known for brilliant defense on a consistent basis. I'm sticking with the Cowboys because they have to win this game. I think they'll make the finals still. They got a good draw, the Cowboys.
Yeah, they're going to have to do it on points.
They're good. I know. Yep, they're going to have to get ahead. So it comes to for and against, they're probably not going to get there. But if they string a few wins together, that'll improve as well.
Of the ones that are in 7th and 8th and could potentially do it, they've probably got the best draw. So that's...
they've definitely got the best draw.
Right.
They play... And I don't know if... Don't quote me off the top of my head, but I think they've got Tigers in there. I think they've got Dragons. They've got Titans tonight. They've got a bye. It's as good a draw as you could ask for. It's just a matter of what Cowboys team turns up on the night, and I think they win tonight.
Cowboys have. They have Titans tonight, Eels next week,
Right.
Tigers, Tigers home, Raiders home.
Okay, so the only good side they're coming up against is the Raiders.
Yeah, and they've got the bye in that too. So
they should get at least 8 points.
You would think so.
And they're in the finals with that. And if they beat the Raiders, well, they should make the 8.
We might do a can and can't later prediction next week. I think
next week, yeah. But if they lose this game, while it won't kill their chances, I think it might kill their spirit, and it'll be all downhill probably for the Cowboys. But I think they get up here.
Yep. All right. Well, in Aotearoa, Joe Media Stadium in Auckland, we see the New Zealand Warriors, or Aotearoa Warriors, versus the Penrith Panthers from the Darug Nation. And that's where our people are from. Look, who's in and who's out? Well, Mari Martin out for the Warriors. Casey McLean out. Jack Cogger out. That sees Blaze Talangi come in. Paul Anamonti and Isaac Tago are in the centres. You've also got Jesse McLean named as number 20 reserve, and which means that and Jack Cobb was also out. Look, this is a very interesting game because we saw what happened. What feels like only a couple of weeks ago, probably because it was. What Penrith can do. The Warriors, it appears, because of how good the Roosters are going, on a bit of a slide. They're third at the moment. They don't want to get out of the 8. They will want to keep touching base with the top 8. It's going to be up to their big guns. It's Charles Nickel-Clockstad, Dylan Wattenis and Lesniak. They're going to have to fire. Harris DeVita, Luke Metcalf, James Fisher-Harris, Wade Egan, Mitch Barnett, Luke Capewell. There's some names there, but Jesus, there's some names on the Penrith side too. I've got the Panthers winning this one, Griffo, but I'm not going to start talking about your team. That you are the guru of the Panthers. You tell us why the Panthers are going to win.
Yeah, look, I do believe. Well, I've tipped Penrith. It's pretty much a 50-50 game. Warriors have everything to play for. They went down narrowly against the Panthers. It was probably 5 or 6 weeks ago. Great game. I think both sides were missing origin players, which affected Penrith more than the Warriors, but Penrith played brilliantly that night on the back of Dylan Edwards, who was outstanding. Edwards is not here. He's been out for a few weeks. Edgar's done a
That was an
job.
insane cut in that dude's head, though.
Yeah, I think it's not the cut. It was apparently. I think there's a bit of a shoulder issue.
Right. Okay. Because
Look, Edgar's been okay. He's actually that's an understatement. Edgar's been good, but he's going to be tested in this game against high-quality opposition. We're going to target him. He's not anywhere near as strong physically as Dylan Edwards. He's a small guy.
Mm-hmm.
Been doing a good job. They're still missing Mitch Kenny, who apparently is not going to be back. He was due back by now, but it's some complication. They're hoping to get him back before the finals, but more likely it will be in the finals. Lussig's been good. Jack Cogger, who played really well last week, he was very good. His wife is having a baby, and that's why he did not make the trip.
Congratulations.
Yes. Blaze comes back in. He only missed the 1 week. And as I said, Cogger was really good in the 6 last week. Interesting that they brought Blaze back in rather than Jack Cole, who remains on the bench. They're missing McLean's out as well. They got a broken bone in his hand that had to be operated on. So the left edge, which has been the shaky edge generally for the Panthers, is where the Warriors are going ahead. I'm not sure if Big Leka Halasima is out on that side of the field or not, but that's where the Warriors will target. It'll be Papali'i, Talangi, Tago, and Milky Jenkins, who are going to be under a lot of pressure. And I also think they're going to put a lot of pressure on Jackson Edgar with high balls. As I said, he's not a big lad. So the big Warriors guys will be coming through, putting a lot of pressure on him. Luke Metcalf makes his return after a long time not playing first grade through injury, but also the fact that he couldn't make his way back into the team. Now, I was listening to SEN this afternoon, and there was a gentleman who is a Warriors follower from New Zealand who called in, and he sort of made that statement that he thought Tamari Martin would be out, and he was right. Metcalf is in. Big opportunity for Metcalf leading to the finals. If he can have a big game here and lead the Warriors to a victory, he'll keep his spot. These guys are going to be, well, probably in the top 4. They've been in the top 4 pretty much all year, and they are a really good side. Playing at home, Penrith are going to be up against it, but I'm going to stick with them if they can reproduce what they showed last week. But it's going to be a great game. It's a 6:00 game tomorrow evening, which would be 8:00, I would imagine, in Auckland. And if the Warriors can get up here, it's going to give them a huge amount of confidence leading into the finals. If, on the flip side, Penrith are able to win the game, you'd think they're probably going to be minor premiers. The Roosters will be hoping for a victory to the Warriors, because the Roosters will have designs, because they play Penrith next week.
What a game. What a game.
Well, they could find themselves on top of the ladder within 2 weeks, the Roosters. If the Warriors can get up here, and then the Roosters do the job next week. But Friday night, next week, that is, 1v2. Pretty much irrespective of what happens here, unless the Roosters lose. But big game next week. But this one, it's almost as big. Penrith's had a pretty good record against the Warriors in recent seasons. The Warriors got up in a big upset at Magic Round, might have been last year, when they had a lot of guys out, and they come up with a big win. But I think, I'm going to stick with my team. And it's more, I've got to say, it's more heart than head on this one.
Okay. Very cool. Well, at Allianz Stadium, home of the Gadigal and Bidjigal peoples, we see the Roosters of the Darawal and Gadigal versus the Bulldogs of Dadara, Bidigal and Bedigal. People, this is, look, big game. Big game. If Roosters have the dream of being minor premiers, they need, this needs to be like shelling peas.
Well, they have to win.
If the Bulldogs have visions of top 8, they need to win this one too, because they're minus 44 with all their buys. This is one that both these sides, this is going to be massive. And look, Bronson Sherry's named on the bench for the Bulldogs. Turpin as well. For the Roosters, it's business as usual. Sam Walker and Daly Cherry Evans have just steered this ship like you would not believe. Mark Nawanta-Nikawase has just been a beast. Robert Toya, defensively brilliant. James Tedesco has form which, he's just playing some really good football. Reece Robson, Spencer Linu, Sua Wong, Victor Radley, Connor Watson, Nat Butcher, Egan Butcher. Their bench, can I just say, no disrespect to any other team in the competition, the Roosters bench, I would love to see the stats on it. I dare say it's as soon as they get on the football field, it's like for like. Cody Ramsey as well. When he gets his start, he's playing some great football. The Dogs are just going to have to roll the sleeves up this week and really get in it. Matt Burton in at centre, Stephen Crichton 5'8", Lockie Galvin halfback. Lockie Galvin's going to have the game of his career. This is your time to shine, son. If you want to be who people say you're going to be, this is the game you have to do it. Max King is just going to have to absolutely make it. Max King, Leo Thompson, Kickow Preston, Jamin Salmon, these guys need to be near 100 metres each because their opposition's going to be. One of these guys is going to have to step up and make 30 to 40 tackles, and Bailey Haywood is going to have to be the guy to really tighten up the middle. Kurt Mann, Josh Curran, when they come on, and Tupanua, they're just going to have to really be like for like. For me, it's going to be what Stephen Crichton and the creativity he creates for Tuala and Burton. Connor Tracy needs to get back into that zippy running style he had, I think, when the Dogs were more potent last year. Taking nothing away from the Dogs. They are a team in form at the moment. Most definitely, they've been playing some great football. That's why they're in 8th. But they're playing a side who many people are tipping are going to be there in the final game in September. Griffo, what's your thoughts and who have you got winning? I've got the Roosters winning this one. Who have you got?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Great.
Is it as close as what is it going to be as close as what you think? I just trying to talk myself into it, but I don't think it's going to be.
No, look, I'm just saying, what a night of football tomorrow night.
Oh, tomorrow night, if you, I'm
3 in the top 4
mate,
sides.
I've got the fire pit ready.
Top 8.
The fire pit's already got wood in. I'm that excited. I'm putting the fire on. Roast a couple of marshmallows and watch some good games of footy.
Sounds like it's going to be a nice night up at Wenny Falls.
I did it last week. It was actually beautiful.
Bit chilly.
Chilly, but that's why you got the fire.
That's the fire. Okay. Well,
I'm rugged up like an Eskimo when I go out there, so.
Oh, that's okay. The Roosters were on fire last week, as we talked about earlier. I wrote the Bulldogs off some weeks ago. I think they've won 7 of their last 8 or something crazy. To find themselves in the top 8 as we speak, it's a great credit to this team and their coaching staff, because they were awful, and they found form. That's coincided really with the return of their two very, very good second rowers in Viliami Kikau and Jacob Preston. Crichton seems to be back to full fitness and playing extremely well. They are just about the form team of the NRL at the moment, the Bulldogs.
They're doing well.
Now, the guy who, I think you didn't mention this guy, making his return off the bench is Satili Tupanua.
Yes. No, I said that, yeah. I said that.
Oh, you did?
He's the guy he's one of the guys for me that has to come off and have a cracking game.
Okay, so he's a former Rooster, and he would be feeling, well, they were happy enough to let me go, so I'll show them what I can do.
Hope so.
And I think it was 2 years ago he was with the Roosters. I think it was Bulldog last year, but he was outstanding earlier in the year. He was the Bulldogs' best player by a mile, then he got injured. It's going to be a great game. As I said, I've been very impressed by the Bulldogs because I didn't rate them. And there's still a part of me that doesn't really rate them, I'll be honest. But if they can beat the Roosters, then I will have to eat some humble pie. I don't think they will, but I think they'll give a really good account of themselves. I don't expect we're going to see the Roosters run away with it like they did last week. It's a bit of a challenge for them as well to, after the high of last week in Townsville, to try and, they'll be happy with a 1-point win, to be fair, because they know that the team they're coming up against is in form. Stick with the Roosters. They have a better team on paper, and they were winning games without being in good form a few weeks ago. And then when it all clicked, we saw what they can do. And I'm going to stick with them.
Fair call, too. The Roosters are red hot. Red hot at the moment. At HBF Park, Perth, home of the Wadak Noyaga people, we see the Storm taking on the Manly Warringah Seagulls. This is an interesting game for me. Named in Cameron Munster. So Cameron Munster is named in at number 6. Davey Moali, he is named in the side as well. You see, and that's the outs for the Seagulls though. Ben Trbojevic and Kobe Hetherington. Yeah, that's also big. I look at the Storm, and I know I've lost all confidence in this team. I just can't. From week to week, I just can't pick them. And I think when South Sydney beat them, I saw a Storm side that just looked broken. And no matter who's in this side, it's like they're pedaling uphill, but the chain's not there. They just seem to, the bike's going nowhere. Joey Walsh and Jamal Fogarty are going to have a very good game, and defensively, their forward pack, Brandon Wakeham, in the middle especially, with Jake Trbojevic, is going to have to tighten up. The guy, I look at these two sides and I see a guy, Cameron Munster, and brilliant. I look at the people around him and then I just go, is this made for a guy like Olakau'atu? Wide running, will reap havoc on the opposition. Corey Waddell as well. Is Jack Howard and Nick Meaney in for a really tough night? And if I'm Olakau'atu, I'm running at Hayden Watson pretty much every second run. And then if I can pop it to someone like Jason Saab, who's loitering around, or Ruben Garrick, the speedsters are going to get me the tries. I've got the Seagulls winning with not a lot of confidence, but it just seems to be, I just think they're going to get there. I really think that the Storm are at the point now where Farlongo, if he fires though, he could be the different. He is the X factor, and they've got to get him involved. But I just look at the Seagulls forward pack and go, no matter where they are on the field, they're always going to end up in some sort of attacking contention by the end of their set. Seagulls for me, Griff.
Yeah, I think they're right off the boil, Manly.
Yep.
They
We used to have the off the boil segment many years ago. Shano's off the boil.
Well,
Seagulls, Shano's Griffo's off the boil.
Yeah, I might be wrong. They might win. I'm not ruling them out, by the way, but I don't expect they're going to win. I just think, these guys were looking at top 4 not all that long ago, and partially through some injuries, but it's not just the injuries. They were going really well without Turbo when he got injured earlier in the year, and they were winning games, but they did have Clayton Fa'alolo playing really well. He's not there. They've got a couple of losses as well. Hetherington and Ben Trebojevic both out. But they have got, as you said, Hamoli is the most damaging player on the field. Kohler is also very good. You mentioned Su'Afa'alongo. He can do anything, literally. If he has a big game, Melbourne can win this, and I'm going to tip him with no confidence. But they have got a few other guys back in the team. You mentioned Cameron Munster. I'm not sure how healthy Munster is, but they're also bringing back Jack Howarth. There's a few other guys, some young guys on that list of who's come in, but I thought they were pretty good last week, Melbourne. And they played that game without the big 3. No Hughes, no Munster, no Harry Grant. They get one of those guys back in Cameron Munster, and look, I'm not certain they're going to win. I've tipped them, but not with a lot of confidence. It's more about, I just don't know that Manly, as I said, they've got an opportunity, Manly, to make the finals. I think they're as many wins as they are losses. The advantage they have is over some of the others have got a good for and against. This is a game they have to win if they're going to make finals.
Yeah.
And, obviously they can win it. I just went with Melbourne.
Yep. That's fair call. I get that. Because that was one I did toil over a little for a little bit. One I didn't really toil over was this one at Suncorp Stadium, home of the Yagira and Turrbal peoples. We see the Dolphins taking on the Broncos. Ray Stone out. Adam Reynolds and Corey Pakes is out for the Broncos. That means that Ezra Mam and Thomas Duffy is a half 5'8". Reece Walsh is there. Karapani, Staggs. Look, this is, and I know the Broncos are out of favour at the moment, but Hammer versus Walsh, Osako versus Karapani, Bostock versus Staggs, Farnworth versus Mariner, Cobbo versus Grant, Nikarima Mam, Katoa, Dufty. There's everyone you look across. There's some sort of matchup. Can I just say this, right? At the start of the year, if I said these two teams were playing, and number 14 was Hunt, Shibasaki Jagewski is also on the bench, you'd go, geez, you know what? Donahue, Plath, Gilbert, Kafusi, the Broncos. I just look at this. I look at the Dolphins team, and they're a team of confidence versus a team that's not confident at the moment. The hammer is when he's on, he's on. The guy for me in this game is the number 4 for the Dolphins, Herbie Farnworth. Just absolute superstar rugby league player. I hate saying that a player is the best at the moment in a position, but geez, there's not many better at the moment than him at centre, and the Dolphins forward pack. have really rolled the sleeves up. Can I just say, complimented also by their bench. I've got the Dolphins winning this one. Griff, who have you got?
Yeah, I went with the Dolphins as well. I mean, they've got more to play for. They are looking to be the first Dolphins team to make the finals. They're on track for it.
A win this week would... I'm not saying it would cement it, but geez, it would put it in. It would put it in. Considering who they've got, like they've got the Seagulls, Eels, Roosters, Titans. A win this week would almost guarantee them buying a final. Their fans could buy a final shirt, I reckon, if they win this week.
Yeah, well, they should do. I guess they've still got aspirations possibly to make the top 4. You pretty much have to win every game to do that, but they're capable of it. There's just so much firepower they've got. And they've only beaten the Broncos once in their history. The Broncos make a big thing about this is our house. It's particularly Tony Staggs. Excuse me. And that won't be lost on the Dolphins. They would have remembered that sort of stuff. I just think they got so many guns. Yep, the Broncos have got guns, but they've not really fired too much. I think just that desire to make sure they're in the 8 and possibly a top 4 will get the Dolphins home. Broncos they fired up for Penrith a few weeks ago and got a win. They've got the talent to win the game, but I just don't know the desire will be there quite as much. So I'm sticking with the Dolphins here.
Yeah, fair call. It's going to be a good game. I hope. Yeah, there's some great matchups this week. Well, on at 7:35 on the 8th on Saturday at Allianz Stadium, home of the Gadigal and Bidjigal peoples, we see the Bidjigal Gadigal Rabbitohs taking on the Eels. And incidentally, isn't that a Darug? In Darug, that's what Parramatta means, where the Eels meet. Am I right in saying that? I remember reading that somewhere.
No idea, mate. I think that's what Parramatta means.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what Parramatta means,
yeah.
where the Eels meet.
Yeah.
In Darug, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not fluent in such
I
things.
I remember someone telling me that a while ago. So, look, for South Sydney, I was, I thought this could give a jellyfish a hard on. Look at this. Listen to this. Cameron Murray's in. David Fafita's in. Tallis Duncan's in. It's brought music to my ears. Latrell Sigwald is out, however. Dylan Walker's out. Harrison Edwards is out. Moretti would be in. I'm just trying to work it all out for them. Saxon Pyrick is in.
Is it Pryke or is it Prick? Depends on.
Yeah, I know Pryke. Pryke, I say.
Go with Pryke. I think he
goes by Pryke. Luca Moretti, is Luca Moretti on an extended? No, Luca Moretti's somewhere.
He's in
prop. He's in the starting prop. Okay, cool. Good on him. And led by their captain Mitchell Moses. Last week, they were. I've never seen the team play so poorly. I remember my coach used to say, it's better to win ugly than lose pretty. I've not seen... Mate, this is the Camilla Parker Bowls of wins last week. It was that.
The Queen.
It was that. You heard that joke, haven't you?
No.
Oh. Quick joke, right? So Snow White, Tom Thumb, and Quasimodo want to be remembered forever, right?
I think you might have mentioned this.
Yeah, and anyway, so Tom Thumb, they go, let's go to the Guinness Book of World Records, would be forever. Tom Thumb says I'm the smallest. Snow White says I'm the prettiest. Quasimodo says I'm the ugliest. So anyway, they go to the offices. Anyway, Tom Thumb comes out punching the air. Woohoo! I'm officially the smallest person in the world. Snow White goes in. 10 minutes later, comes out. Woo! Punches the air. I'm officially the prettiest person in the world. Quasimodo goes in. 30 seconds, comes out and goes, who the hell's Camilla Parker Bowles? I cleaned that up. Anyway, quick abbreviated version. You can add all the swear words in you want. Look, South Sydney side here for me is just, this is the side that really a few weeks ago was lighting it up. You know, like when they were winning, they were getting into the grind, they were doing the things they needed to do. Java Fafita being helped out by Brandon Smith. Keon Kolamatangi now has the people around him to do the things he needs to do. Adam Elliott gives me butterflies at second row, but that's okay as long as his hands are all right. Jai Gray coming off the bench, and you know when he does plays a really important role. I look at this side of the South Sydney Rabbitohs versus the Parramatta team and the way Parramatta played last week, and I just go, South Sydney have way too much to play for. They're in at 7th at the moment. They need to win this game. This is must win. This is do or die at this point in time. Alex Johnson should extend his try scoring. Matt Duffy's been playing some great football. The Eels, they will feel like a team that just need to be a nuisance factor, and they could be a nuisance this week. But I think if Cody Walker can just keep it together, Ashton Ward's been doing some really good things. Brandon Smith, incidentally, members were notified today that Brandon Smith has no further case to answer in that thing.
All right,
yeah.
good.
So that's been
happy for him.
Yeah. So that information's been given to the integrity unit, and hence why he's free to play. I look.
It's a big weight off his shoulders.
Yeah.
I think he'll be able to play even better, and he's been good for him.
I think he's been very good. Jamie Humphries is a guy who's been coming on, doing some fantastic things. I got the Rabbitohs, and you know why, Griff, but who have you got this week?
No, I don't think, Shano, it's just out of your heart. I mean, realistically, this is a much better team than their opposition.
You do not. When I saw the team list Tuesday, can I be honest with you? I sat down and poured myself a beer and went, "This is lovely."
Okay.
This is the and the beer was great too, just to see Tallis Duncan back in. Because the thing for me, before these guys got injured, and the suspension, of course, to Fafita, they were playing some brilliant rugby league. Like they were playing out of their skin, and I just thought, like, to come back now, I just hope they find that form. Not because I'm a South fan, because they deserve it. They've put in such hard work. So, yeah. Anyway, Rabbitohs.
Yeah, look, I'm tipping the Rabbitohs. They are in the 8. If they're going to stay in the 8, they have to win against the Eels. Now, the Eels have put in some good performances this year. I watched the first half last week, and they were pretty good. But apparently they fell away badly in the second half. And I watched the mini, and the Tigers probably should have won that game from what I saw. Oh. And then Para scored a late try.
The worst defensive read you have ever seen in your football watching life.
Makasini, was it?
Yes.
From memory?
Horrible.
Yeah. Look, Para will throw a lot at South. I've no doubt about that.
They're always tough games.
I just think South have got a better team, and they've got more to play for. Para, they're not going to make the 8. Obviously, they want to finish as high up the ladder as they can. And last year was a similar situation where they finished the season well. They were out of the running for the 8. The pressure was off, and they played better. Now that's not good enough for your supporters, really. You want to not be out of the 8 early on. But they do seem to play their best when the pressure's off, and the pressure is off. The pressure's on South here, but I just think they got the better players. And I do believe Para will score points, but I think South will. With Cody Walker, he did some really nice things last week against the Sharks. Showed his class with the ball in hand, and I just think he'll be a little bit too good for Para.
To put it in perspective for South, how important winning this game is. Next week they've got the Dogs.
Yeah, crucial.
The week after that they've got the Warriors.
Yeah, I don't think they might struggle there.
The week after that they got the Titans.
I think they can win that.
And the week after that they got the Roosters.
I don't think they're going to win that. So
this is why this game is just.
I have to win here.
Ultra important. Season defining, actually.
Yeah. I think the 3 wins probably get them into the finals because they got good for and against. So
that's right. Yep.
This has to be one of those wins.
Yep.
Yeah.
So on Sunday at GIO Stadium, home of the Ngunnawal people, we see the Raiders of the Ngunnawal taking on the Awabakal Knights, so the people of Newcastle. Raiders versus Newcastle. It's versing the Knights, sorry. So Sebastian Chris is out for the for the Raiders. Simi Sasagi, he comes in for the Raiders.
They missed him last week. It was a big loss.
I think that's really big for them. For the Knights, it's just business as usual. Kalen Ponga's there. You've got Bradman Best. You've got Fletcher Sharp, Sandon Smith, Phoenix Crossland, Tyson Frizzell. He's on the bookends this week. Matt Croker. You've got some really good. You got their Fletcher Hunt off the bench. You've got their gambit of players. The Raiders are staying. They look like they've actually got some players back and people in form. You look at them. They've got KO Weeks. Sasagi's back. Xavier Savage. You've got Ethan Strange, Ethan Sanders, Corey Horsburgh, Joseph Tarpany, Zach Hoskins. You've got Morgan Smithies, Tom Starling on the bench with Josh Papali'i, Dane Laurie, Tamale. It's going to be a really interesting game. For me, the guy who's going to break this apart is Kalen Ponga. I think they're in the 8 now, and if I was Justin Holbrook, I'd be saying this is one of these games that defines where you finish in the 8. You want to be a top 8 side. This is the game you have to win. You got to go away. You got to get in the trenches, get in the grind, and the bus trip home from Canberra becomes a whole lot sweeter when we have 2 points in the bag. Ricky Stewart will be going, our season's not over yet. If we just keep winning, we could be anywhere at the end of this. I've still got the Knights winning, Griff. I know Raiders at home can be a different beast. I just think this is a different Knights side than we've seen over the past few years. So I've got the Newcastle Knights, Kalen Ponga, having a day out, I think, with this one.
Yeah, Shano, I've just moved to find my phone to check my tips. I thought I tipped the Raiders, and I did. Yeah.
You got the Raiders?
I tipped the Raiders. Now, obviously, they go in, I would think, as underdogs because the Knights have been really good and were great last week in going up to Brisbane and getting the job done quite convincingly. The reason I'm tipping the Raiders is not a slight on the Knights. It's just I think this is their season. They lose this, it's all over. I mean, it's unlikely they're going to make the 8 anyway, but to give themselves a chance, they have to win this game. They were outplayed last week. Penrith in the first half, after a sluggish start, they were on fire. Cleary just, well, it was 5-star from Nathan Cleary. The Raiders did show some attacking brilliance. They scored 3 fantastic tries. It showed when they hang on to the ball what they can do. the problem for the Raiders was some dreadful mistakes, and Penrith punished them. Like, seemed that with 3 or 4 minutes left, I think it was 18-6. On the first tackle, Tomoko gets sort of looked like he was getting pushed in a touch. He just drops the ball. Penrith go down and score in that set of 6. Then with about a minute and a half left, Penrith kicked downfield. KO Sports knocks on, and Penrith scored again. So what should have been an 18-6 halftime scoreline, Penrith just mercilessly just drove the nails into their coffin, and it was all over at halftime. But they do get Sasangi back. They're really missing Hudson Young, and to a lesser extent, Noah Martin in the second row. But I think at home, with the season on the line, that's why I've tipped them. And I do realise that I'm going underdog here. And Newcastle should win this game if form is any guide. But just a bit of desperation. I know I'm probably making a mistake, but I'm so far down, I'm going for a few upsets, and this is one of them.
All right. Nothing wrong with that. On Sunday at 4:05 it's at Cogra. I don't. Home of the Bedigal people. Okay, it could, St George Venue's Jubilee Stadium, home of the Bedigal people. Thank you for keeping it simple.
Mouthful.
Jesus,
St George
sees the
Venue's
Dragons
Jubilee
taking
Stadium.
on the Sharks. Local derby, then you would argue. So Jaden Beryl, Talakai and Iro are out for the Sharks. Brandon Uele is in for the Toby Couchman out. But really, it sees the Dragons fairly settled in Gutherson, King Tonga, Flanagan,
He
Cook.
was back last week, I think.
Yep, Ryan Couchman. It was a decent bench. However, they're playing a Shark side. They just have too much to play for. They're in the top 4. Will Kennedy, Katoa, Ramian, Hiroti, Mulatano, Trindle. And the guy here, number 7, Nico Hines, who's 3 away from the all-time record kicks in a row, I think.
Yeah, 3 to level.
3 to level to 4 to win. He'll probably get it this weekend, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Their forward pack is just insane. Fanil Blake, Bradley, Calhoun, Nakota, Wilton, and Cameron McInnes seems to be doing what he does. Their bench is very good as well. I've got the Sharks winning this one and probably winning it well. I think they're just going to keep cementing their place in the top 4 as the weeks go on. Griffo, why are the Sharks winning?
Well, I'm not tipping an upset here, just quietly. Look, this last week, the top 4 teams really did flex their muscles. And I've been really impressed with the Sharks' late season form. They were up and down earlier in the year, and I certainly wasn't convinced even they were going to make the 8 at one stage, but they've been outstanding. And a lot of that's to do with the improvement in Nico's game and his consistency. Trindle's been pretty much their best player most weeks. But now it's a 2-pronged attack led by Trindle and Nico. And Nico's a confidence player, and the confidence, he's the fact that he's banging all these goals over just adds to his general confidence, and he plays better in those circumstances. The Dragons were, they were okay last week. I think it was only a 6-point loss to the Titans. There was a lot of red and white on that field. But the Sharks, I've always, I guess, underestimated the Sharks through, the last 6 or 7 years at least. They've always had an easy draw compared to other top 8 teams. I mean, they're still, that's, I don't know why that is every year. Well, actually, I do know why. It's because they're not a team that rates all that well. So all the good rating teams, like the big teams, the Broncos, the Roosters, the Panthers, the Rabbitohs, they all seem to play each other twice every year. So it's a ratings game. Whether that changes under the new license.
Everyone
the NRL,
should play each other once.
I don't think that's enough games.
I don't think so either, but that's chucking it out there.
Yeah.
I remember a time where we'd get put in the pool.
I know we're going to go to 20 teams within the next 3 years, but 19 games is not enough as a fan, and certainly, apparently, if they all play each other once, it's not many less games than what we play now overall. But I don't want 10 games a weekend and miss, 4 or 5 weekends of footy. Like, I don't know that, okay, maybe 24 games is too many, but I think a minimum 22 games, and, you can, you have your rivalry rounds and things like that. But, well, we won't go into that now, but for this game, it's a local derby. Cronulla was a team born out of the Dragons in the past. Obviously, they're neighbours, separated essentially by the Georges River.
Yeah.
You go to the south, you're in Sharks territory. You go to the north, it's Dragons territory. And they've been rivals, obviously, ever since 1967. At the moment, the smaller franchise, probably arguably the smallest franchise in the NRL, maybe they're bigger than the Gold Coast, well, they would be actually, but they punch above their weight, and they are a serious threat to the competition this year. I think any of the top 4 can win the comp, and possibly the Dolphins. And I do expect that the Sharks will win well here. And as I said, I generally think, okay, once the semis come around, the Sharks will get sorted out by the better sides. And that may still happen, but you've got to give credit to these guys. They've been in the prelim 2 years in a row, and that is not an easy thing to do, to get to that stage. Going back a bit, your team, Shane, were making it to the prelim pretty much every year. And they did break through and get to the grand final against Penrith, but they were consistently in that, second last game of the year.
Yeah.
And that's not to be underscored. And
no.
And I mean, they don't really go in the record books. So who made the prelim? But teams know that if you can make that grand final qualifier, you've had a very good season to get to that point.
Yeah.
And I think the Sharks will be there again, and they may even break through into the grand final and possibly win it if they maintain the form of the last couple of months. And a big part of that was the return of their, the spiritual leader in Ronaldo Mulitalo. He's really lifted the team since he came back. It's pretty much the same guys that have been running around in black, white, and blue for quite a few seasons, and they know that a lot of the team's got to break up with guys going to various clubs. So it's their last chance to do something together they're a big threat this year, and they'll be too good for the Dragons.
Yep. Well, that's the game for this week's. Griffo, any closing comments?
No. Interesting. We haven't heard much about the Tigers this week because they got the bye.
Yeah, fancy that. Thanks for listening, everyone. It's great to have your patronage and great for you to be a part of it. Griffo, thank you again for being a part of it. Your insights, thank you for everything. Thanks for the chat. Listeners, thank you for allowing us into your airwaves once again. And have a wonderful weekend and hope your rugby league team wins, unless you go for the Eels, in which case I don't. But anyway, take care, everyone, and until next week.
Thank you, Shano. Thank you, listeners, and we'll be back next week. Have a good week. Enjoy the rugby league, which has already started.
Has?
Yeah. Bye-bye.